Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on a very special episode of Ask Sharifah Videocast. And you know what I do. You know how I do. I love to sit down and speak with business owners, entrepreneurs, but you know what? Especially my friends. And today I have an opportunity to sit down and discuss and share with you such a wonderful, amazing person, Mrs. Andrea Cruz, who is a humanistic existential therapist. I've been working on that. I messed it all up as always, but we're going to talk about it and let Andrea explain to us exactly what a humanistic existential therapist is. Good afternoon, Andrea. How are you?
Good afternoon, Sharifah. Thank you so much for having me today.
You are so welcome. Thank you for joining me. And to everyone who's tuning in, be sure to go ahead and share this episode because friends don't let friends miss out on Ask Sharifah. And that's right. If you have questions, if you have comments for today's guest, please be sure to ask them in the comment section. Now, another reason I wanted to sit down with you is because we're going to find out about your therapy. We're going to find out about your retreats. But you're a woman who has a lot of different things going on. You're also a member of the Long Beach Holistic Chamber of Commerce. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you got involved?
Yes, thank you. So how I got involved with the Long Beach Holistic Chamber of Commerce, one day I was out promoting my retreats as it was the very first retreat that I put on last year in, I believe it was May of 2018. And as I was getting ready and prepared for that, I started attending a lot of more events in regards to holistic lifestyle, and I went to a sound bath over at in Long Beach at Olive Yoga's studio. And when we were there, I met Daniel Gutierrez, I met Paula Shimatsu, I met Elizabeth Bola, and I just really felt connected with the people, and that's how we linked up. And then Daniel Gutierrez invited me out to Long Beach Holistic Chamber of Commerce, and I've been pretty consistently attending, and I'm happy to say that I'm really enjoying where the Long Beach Holistic Chamber of Commerce is heading now with our beautiful Daniel Alexa. And so I'm just thrilled to be a part of this community that really supports each other, supports entrepreneurs, supports healthy and happy lifestyles, and that's how I got involved.
Yes, and the reason I wanted to mention that is because you are not just a member of the Long Beach Holistic Chamber of Commerce. You're that smiling face that greets you every time you walk in. And I always like to point out and give attention to the people who support other people. You're always there to support us. So I definitely wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you. I love greeting you. You have got this great energy, and you're always just so ready to go and so fiery and so passionate that I just had to reach out and, support you. And I'm definitely supporting you on your campaign for Long Beach City Council woman. I am definitely going to be supporting you with that every step of the way. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. And for me, the campaign for city council is a part of everything that I'm doing. For me, it's about helping people, which is exactly why I'm focused on the Long Beach Holistic Chamber of Commerce, who allows people to promote their businesses. So let's talk about just a few of the things that you have going on. So you're a humanistic existential therapist.
Yes.
Yeah, read these words. I'm gonna have to do some editing.
Yeah. So how I got into that was, first of all, I believe every person who is a healer has had their own story of healing. Generally, people don't just jump into, unless they know intuitively, like this is what they're going to be when they grow up, and they follow that path and they follow that trajectory. I've had a lot of different lives in this one lifetime. I've been a realtor. I've been a swim coach. I've been an actor. I've done a lot of work, and what led me to that was experiencing some of my own trauma and experiencing some of the pains and the struggles that people go through when dealing with that. And so my exploration was getting to know, why is it that either I attracted that, or why is it that I had experienced that and what causes people to act in the ways that they do. So really my search for becoming a therapist in general was to understand not only the human condition, but how to heal the wounded warrior inside, and how to then cultivate greater change for myself and for others. So that's where my path as a therapist started, and really just self-awareness, knowing thyself, and then from there, I met some really wonderful mentors. I met Dr. Caroline Paulton. I met Dr. Pamela Reeves. They both have wonderful practices in Orange County. And they were mentors and influencers in my life that really cultivated change. And so I was invited to the Humanistic Conference. And what's the Humanistic Conference? Well, American Psychological Association, otherwise known, okay, those are big words, as the APA, right? Everyone has to type when they're in college according to the APA standards, right?
Right.
They have a big association. And so each I would say division in therapy or modality in therapy has its own division. So division 32 happens to be the humanistic existential. Mm-hmm. So I guess I call myself a humanistic existential conference because therapist or counselor, because I mostly resonate with that frame of mind, that reference, that mindset. And so what is that really? Carl Rogers is the person who created that format of humanistic. And humanistic is just really being the best human being you could possibly be. And so how do we do that? We do that through self-actualizing. So these are big, lofty words, and I'm going to break them down and explain it for you so that it makes sense and people will be, okay, that makes sense. So understanding what a self-actualized person is knowing what is your best self, what is your greatest self-image that you would like to attain. So when you have this ideal self, right, your perceived ideal self, how is your current self-image in alignment with that? So if you think of them as two spheres, you know, here's your ideal self, and here is your own self-perception. And if you can just bring those two circles together, all of a sudden, you have a self-actualized person. So it takes steps to attain that. We're going to talk about that at our upcoming Long Beach Holistic Chamber of Commerce and how you can achieve your ideal self. And existentialism is just the state of being. Okay, so when you are loving yourself for who you are, when you are just sitting in the present moment, sitting in the now, then you're not judging yourself according to what your future is. You're not judging yourself to what your past is. You're just saying, I accept myself wholly in the now, right? So what's really phenomenal is this is a Western psychologist, Carl Rogers, who brought in a very Eastern philosophy, which is not judging yourself for harsh feelings that you've experienced, not judging yourself for any pain or strife or struggles that you've experienced, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and just allowing yourself to be in the moment so you can then become self-actualized. So you got to be open to experiences, open to living in the now, open to not judging, right? Not judging yourself, not judging others, trusting your feelings, right? So trusting your instincts, you know, people who have those kind of like, those intuitions, those hunches, those spidey senses, you know, sometimes people feel that they hear from angels or from God. And I think that is a part of your intuition and a knowingness and understanding of what is right for you and what you're not, what it is that is not right for you, okay? So trusting your feelings. And then creativity, right? So, you know, here we are, you know, we've had all of these experiences in our life, some of them really wonderful, some of them, you know, really tragic. And, you know, what are we going to do with all of this, right? How are you going to make lemonade from lemons? And so what you do is then you just reach into your soul and say, well, what do I want to do with all of this? And then you start creating. Maybe you decide to make bracelets, which is one of the things that I've done. I really enjoy making bracelets. So a little plug, shameless plug for Cruz Collection. Here's some of my chakra bracelets with kyanite and faceted crystal in between. And here's another one. Here's this amethyst love with moonstone, and Cruz Collection has the cross always. That's my last name's Cruz, so I always have to represent the cross in everything that I do, and what that means. And so after you have this creativity, and after you're inspired by something or someone, how is it that you're fulfilling that lifestyle? What is it that you're doing in the community? How is it that you are now achieving that purpose, that little spark of inspiration, that little glimmer of hope that says, oh, I really would like to be that person one day that achieves, that gets involved in politics, that has their own practice, that has taken that journey, that hero's journey, that has gone through the suffering, and now you've arrived at the other side to self-actualization. So we're going to be using all these tools at the Mind, Body, Heart, Soul retreat. We also have really wonderful healers that are coming out, some of which you already know that we're mutual friends with. Shannon Leishner, I saw that you had this really great flyer with her, and that's so exciting. So she's going to be there as our intuitive catalyst, our psychic healer, as well as Paula Shimatsu, who's a shamanic healer and has a long lineage into Japan of the Reiki healing and also divining information. And then we also have Katie Cram, our astrologer, who's coming, and all of these amazing people who are going to be teaching you about how to smell and how to understand what is it called, the aromatherapy, and how that's helpful for you. So Taya Gomez and Heidi King, and then of course Brett Hand as our support, and then my lovely boyfriend Daryl Hulse, who's going to be the chef, the vegan chef and cuisine. So I work with a lot of people. I work with people with depression, I work with people with anxiety, and I have my own individual practice. I work for the community, for Department of Mental Health right now, and I'm bridging into having my own practice. So I'm here at Bodhi Studios right now, where I'll be receiving clients, and so you can come and see me anytime that you feel a need to learn a bit more about yourself, because ultimately us as healers is just a reflection of each other. So like, I appreciate this space that you're providing for me, because then we get to learn more about, you know, all of these wonderful things that life has to offer. So
yes, it's wonderful. And you mentioned a lot of people. I'm glad you're there at Body Studios in Anaheim. So how often are you going to be at Body?
I'm going to be here at Body, or Bodhi Beautiful on the Inside.
Yes.
I'm going to be here on Thursday mornings, from 9 a.m. till about 12. I'm also going to be here on Fridays, and then I'll touch and go as needed. So we'll just figure out a schedule for people as they need to come in. You're going to be here Friday evenings as well. So yeah, we'll just see.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I'm so excited. But the information that you gave us, to me, when I was listening to you speak, initially you talked about how we go through different changes. Like you were a realtor, then you were an actor. And now being a therapist, do you find that you were actually going through the process that you described of trying to be happy with yourself and not worry and find the thing that your heart really wants to do? Because one of the things I've learned about successful people is successful people are never satisfied, no matter what. They get to a point and they're like, I want to do this. They do it. And then they're like, what's next? So for you, you know, when you were looking at different careers and deciding what you wanted to do, what made you turn to therapy or being a therapist?
Yeah, so, you know, like I had mentioned, I'm a creative person. I love to create. And I love to hold space. And I feel like I've always been good at listening to others and providing support. And, you know, my friends would always come to me and share with me what was going on with on their hearts. And I found that even when I was doing real estate, that I ended up learning a lot, supporting others, kind of holding that therapeutic space for them, even though I was doing something completely different. So when I was a child, I had my own childhood therapist. And I remember looking up at her I think at the young age of like, I don't know, 6 or 7, maybe 5 years old. And I said, you know, Roseanne, I really want to be just like you when I grow up. Aww. And it's that one person that just, you know, touches your heart, opens your heart, and just providing that healing space for you. That really just kind of opens yourself. I didn't think at one point when I was growing up in my young 20s I didn't think that that I was going to jump into therapy, because that little dream stayed in my childhood. It didn't really take me until, you know, this point in my life where I was like, I really would like that. So I feel like I'm always growing. I love having a psychological degree, a master's degree in psychology, because you never stop learning. You're always going to grow. You can never learn enough. And there's so many things that can be done, because, you know, I just have this moon in Gemini, so I'm always wanting to do other things. I'm always wanting to be in other areas of life, and I'm never going to stop growing. I'm never going to stop learning, but I just love to meet with people and provide that space. And so I'm always going to do it, no matter if I'm over here and I'm working as a professor at a junior college, which will most likely be my next step, or, you know, running a practice over here at Bodhi Studios. It's just never going to stop. We're always going to be growing. I want to read a quote to you that Carl Rogers said that's kind of like a perfect answer for what you just mentioned. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is a perfect time to read this. It says, from Carl Rogers, "The good life is a process, not a state of being. It is a direction, not a destination." And I just so resonate with that, because people are always like, once I get here, that's it, you know? And that's not it. We're always going to be saying, well, what's next? Because life is, you know, life is the hero's journey. You know, we're always,
yes, it is.
We're always growing, you know, so yeah, so that is it in a nutshell.
But what I found interesting about what you said is I kind of feel like kindred spirits here for a minute, because you were talking about being a small child looking up at the therapist and saying, I want to do what you do, and then forgetting about it. And I always tell people, now I actually earn my living speaking in some form or fashion, whether it's on the video cast or even campaigning, you know, shaking hands and kissing babies. It's about speaking. But as a child, I was the child that my mother was like, if you do not shut up, you know what I mean? Because I was talking. I was like, why? You know, and I always had questions, and I was always inquisitive, and I wanted to know everything. I wasn't satisfied with just, you know, you don't need to know or anything like that. I had to know. But as a child, I was preparing myself for what I would do as an adult, and I didn't know it. So
exactly.
You were looking up at a therapist, and lo and behold, here you are.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting the chills as you speak, because like that's absolutely it. You know, like whatever our talents are, whatever our personalities are, you know, if we take care of ourselves and we don't hinder ourselves and we allow the divine inspiration to run through us, and we keep on, you know, feeling our intuition and letting it take us to our next step, then, you know, then all of a sudden I'm on your show, Ask Sharifah, and you're my, you know, my hostess, and we're having this really awesome exchange online, which is totally just like kind of random, but really wonderful and like inspired, you know? So
yes, I love to sit down and talk to entrepreneurs, business owners, whatever celebrities, influencers, whoever you are, but I want to provide people with a platform. So we talked about a little bit, we'll talk a little bit more about you being a therapist, but you also spoke about creativity and how important creativity is. So Daryl Mark Hulse II wants to know what drove you to designing bracelets and what inspires your designs.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Daryl, for asking me that. You know, when I started creating beads, creating bracelets, I had this one really wonderful woman who lives across the street. Her name is Janice Olson, and she's a retired art teacher. And so when you step into her home, you're stepping into a really beautiful world of art, of culture, of museums. Like you go in there and you're just like, every single corner is just so beautiful. And so one day she showed me one of her beautiful necklace creations, and she said she made this. And I just looked at her and I said, how beautiful is that? Like, how did you learn to make this? She's like, oh, I just went to the Gem and Mineral Fair and I picked out some things that I liked and I created this. And so I said, I want to go to the Gem and Mineral Fair. And at the time, I was a intern therapist, and I was working at a dual diagnosis house. So what's a dual diagnosis house? For about I would say about 3 years, I worked with teenagers who were battling with addiction and mental health. So it was an inpatient in-home residency, and you know, I learned a lot about therapy. I learned a lot about the human condition, and I learned a lot about what propels people to start consuming drugs and alcohol in order to ease the soul, ease the pain, and ease the hurt that you have experienced. And so during that, you know, as I needed to now ground myself and de-stress myself, I was looking for something for me to get into a meditative state, to create something beautiful, for me to relax and unwind. And I found that coping skill in several ways. One, I would jump into the ocean when it was summertime because it was this great way to release the negative ions. Another thing that I would do was ground myself in the earth. And the third thing that I would do was to do art, whether that was coloring or painting, and then creating bracelets. So through her, I started working with crystals and I started working with gems, and I found, you know, beautiful beads, and I just really fell in love with the experience of having various crystals that have different properties and metaphysical meanings come together and just really like work with the soul and ease. So each one is, you know, divinely guided and inspired and prayed over with intention, so that the person who wears them has a really wonderful experience of aligning themselves to whatever intention they need for healing. So that's how I started creating these. This is one of my rarer designs because it has kyanite crosses in between each. It has hematite crosses in between each kyanite. And kyanite is good for aligning the chakras and then communication. And then it represents each color of the chakra. That it also has a crystal in between each one, faceted. So I'm going to be selling these at the Esoteric Con come September the 7th. And I'll be there with Daniel. Alexa will be speaking. I'm there with, I'm sharing a booth with my friend Trina. Okay. And you can find her on Leaf and Divine on Instagram. You can find me on Cruiser777 on Instagram for the Mind, Body, Heart, Soul Retreat, and then Cruz the Collection on Instagram for my bracelets. And we'll be there setting up a booth. She'll be selling some of her wonderful succulents, which is a great way for grounding. And I'll be there providing some individual sessions, and then also selling my bracelets, and then promoting my upcoming retreat this October 10th. So
Yeah,
I'm shamelessly promoting myself because you said I could do it. So I'm doing
that's what
it.
we do on Ask Sharifah video cast, shameless self-promotion. So tell us
Right.
about the retreat.
Okay, so this October 10th, 10/10/19, which is a very empowering number.
My mother's birthday.
What's that?
That's my mother's birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. How wonderful is that? That's so
Yes.
beautiful. Oh my, you have to come up. We're going to be there up in the mountains on a truly self-care retreat, just loving yourself. And one thing that I have found this is my third retreat that I'm hosting, that people really come back down the mountain transformed and changed. So the location is either Big Bear or Lake Arrowhead. We're deciding between a couple of cabins right now, but there's still spots available. We have booked a few spaces currently, and we're going to have just an amazing time. Our last retreat, we had Daniel Gutierrez as the healer. This time we're having Paula Shimatsu and Shannon Leishner, myself, and a group of people, which I shared already. And so really, it is what you would like it to be, because I also host small groups up there as well. So if you want to create a retreat for massages and self-cares with just women who've experienced trauma, you can do that. But this is a space for everybody. It's co-ed space. We get a big luxury cabin. Everything is all inclusive. You get all of your foods. We teach about nutrition. We teach about cultivating a self-actualized self and letting your intuition guide you, and teaching you tools in which you can go back into the world and then really be more empowered, and then be able to create more and manifest more. And then you'll have a lot more health, happiness, and abundance in all areas of your life. So I truly believe that. I truly felt inspired to do that after a meditation I experienced up in the mountain. And so far, I've just been blessed. I've been extremely blessed with wonderful people that have come up. Just really amazing and powerful healers. And then every single one of the guests and clients that come up have this amazing transformation, and then just love and respect for each other, because we're holding what's called sacred space, which is unconditional love and positive regard for everybody that is there. And so we have music and yoga and just a lovely time up there. So I just couldn't be more grateful to be a part of it, really. Just every time I'm there, I'm just like in this blissful space with everyone, and we're all like, we don't want to leave. I'm like, yeah, I know, wish we could just stay up here forever. So that's
I know that I always say that's the hallmark of a good event or a good meeting, is when no one wants to leave. That's when you know it went really well, because you want to hold on to that energy. You want to just keep everybody together for that moment, because it's going to end. But I'm just listening to you, Andrea, and I love your energy. I love that you are someone who makes it happen. I mean, we have so many people who are talkers. They talk about making it happen, but don't actually take the steps or the actions to make it happen. But you do so much. I mean, from, like you said, you're a therapist, you create your own jewelry, then you're creating these retreats. You mentioned you still currently have your day job, transitioning into having your own practice, but you also offer people insurance. Whoa. Like, like 24 hours in a day, you offer insurance as well?
Yes, I do. So, amongst all of these things, I've always enjoyed business, and I've always enjoyed seeing my money grow, right? Everyone wants to see their money grow, and they want to protect their wealth, right? It's important to protect our health, because that is wealth, So first of all, being a healthy individual means all areas of your life are in a state of growth and abundance. So I learned a bit about investments and assets as being a realtor and loan officer in an earlier part of my life. And when I changed into this trajectory, I still really enjoyed, working with the money and working with the deal. And I still have that little bit of, I want to say, hustle in me, you know? And so,
Yeah.
so I think that once I realized that I really need to understand how the market works and how money works, and how people are not really educated on their finances,
Mm-hmm.
that I took it upon myself, first of all, to learn it myself. And I got a life insurance policy through one of my girlfriends who came to my retreat, and she shared with me some information. Shout out to my friend Monica Rodriguez. Hey, Monica. So she shared with me some really amazing information about how you can now protect your money so that it's not taxed anymore, and so that it will grow at a much higher interest rate than what's being offered in our savings accounts and banks accounts and 401ks, because those 401ks they're all variable, so they all go up and down in the market because it's not capped, it's not fixed, and it's not indexed being the key word. So I learned about indexed accounts and how you can get that through the vehicle of life insurance. So I'm a life and health insurance agent, and so when you put your money into the vehicle of a universal life insurance policy, then a couple things are happening. Your money is growing, and as the market changes, it stays fixed. So as the market goes up, so does your interest rate, and you want a higher interest rate on money coming to you, right? Because you want more percentage of your money coming towards you. Mm-hmm. So then as the market goes up, it caps. And as the market goes down, guess what? It stays up at that capped rate. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, you're not a victim to how the market changes. You're saving your money on a higher indexed rate according to the protection of a life insurance policy. And guess what? Because it's under the protection of a life insurance policy, it will never be penalized and it will never be taxed. So even if you decided to take your money out tomorrow, the day after you decide to get your life insurance policy, it will never penalize you. You will never get penalized. So I was like, oh my gosh, because I was thinking, I'm not married and I don't have any kids. So why would this life insurance policy benefit me? Right. And then I realized, wow, it's like a savings account, and I can take money out at a higher interest anytime that I want to put a down payment on a home or something like that. I was like, sign me up. So after that, I was like, why am I not doing that? Right. So we have this amazing products and information through our company, World Financial Group, which is part of Transamerica, which is a very reliable bank and company that has lasted for decades and decades and decades in the San Francisco area. And they're just really intelligently building a network of people all throughout the nation. So I'm really grateful to be a part of that and to have my life insurance license. And, and thank you for encouraging me to share that, because it's kind of something that I do in the background with some of my friends, but, you're encouraging me to share this, and I appreciate that, because people need to know how to take care of, because, of their wealth too, because it's an important part of living. We have to appreciate the coin. And I think you speak a lot about that, don't you? I feel like I can learn a lot from you about that.
We can learn a lot from each other. My focus, I speak a lot about finances. And I think that's because when we try to serve the world, we forget that we have to be a part of this world in other ways, meaning we still have to take care of our mortgage, our rent, our car expenses, whether that's a car note or just gas for the car, just whatever, we need finances in order to be able to live. And too often we just want to help. You just want to help. You just want to be everybody's friend and provide these services without getting anything in return. And what I like to help people understand is that you're actually providing a disservice to the person that you really want to help, as well as a disservice to yourself. And so by charging and actually, setting a rate, you're being more of service to the person that you really want to help. But just mentioning that is important. But, and I normally wouldn't ask this question, but Andrea, I just feel like, again, we're kindred spirits. So I'm going to ask you, and I think it's important because you are a therapist, because we mentioned the Long Beach Holistic Chamber of Commerce. We mentioned you being a therapist. We mentioned you making jewelry. We mentioned you doing insurance. We mentioned you doing a retreat. And that's just 5 things right now. We know you're not married, no kids, but you have the wonderful boyfriend, Daryl, who you love. And I'm sure I'll love him too once I get to meet him. But what do you do for you? You know, so often as women especially, and I hate to be sexist, but I really am, we go, 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 go. We take care of everyone, and then we find out that we're drained and that, you know, we haven't done anything for ourselves. How do you replenish and give back to yourself?
You know, and I think that's a great question, because it, you know, it has to be a part of your daily life and your daily practice. I happen to fall on, if you know the Myers-Briggs personality exam, I happen to fall on the introvert extrovert 50%, right? So people who are extroverts, they always need to be around other people, and people who are introverts need to always be around themselves and take care of themselves. So almost every single day I'm doing something for myself. Whether that's prayer, whether that's meditation, whether that's oils, whether that's just singing and whether that's just going to the beach and grounding myself, or spending time with a friend or a loved one. I feel like you can make it a daily practice to always do things for yourself. But you know, the wonderful thing about the lifestyle that I have chosen is that everything that I'm doing is for myself. Like, you can call me selfish, but you know, I really love everything that I do, and it doesn't feel like work at this point. You know, it feels like I'm playing, and really, like, that's the way life should be. It should be just playful. Don't take anything too seriously. Like, you know how much fun it is to make bracelets? You know, do you know how much fun it is to have a retreat up in the mountains and take care of yourself, and meantime teach other people to take care of themselves? Then it's a whole bunch of people taking care of themselves, and then they're taking care of others. So I get loved, and I get, you know, appreciated, and they get loved and they get appreciated. So it's just exchange, you know, of creativity that ends up happening, you know, and I feel like everything that I do is for myself.
I love that, though. I was having a discussion the other day about the Long Beach City Council campaign with someone, and they were kind of stressing out. And I literally said to them, this is supposed to be fun, not because it's a political campaign, but because it's a part of life. You know what I mean? Life doesn't have to be that stressful and that serious, and, you know, but we get in a mindset of struggle, that if you're not struggling, then it's not worth it, and that sort of thing. And I just remind people all the time, life is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be lived, you know, not, it doesn't have to be stressful. So I love your words. I love the fact that you reminded even me that how much fun is it to make jewelry? It's fun to have retreats. It's fun to do all these things. And that's what I love. I love that energy.
It's fun. I mean, I get a kick out of it. Every single day, another opportunity opens up. You know, I'm like a little kid screaming, you know, you know, like, it's so much fun, you know, like being on your show is so much fun. I get to talk about myself to you.
Not just to me, to everybody who's tuning in. We know people watching. I've seen the thumbs up, the heart. Definitely Daryl here showing some love. I mean, he's just been flying. People have been watching, and we're definitely going to share this show. Where can people contact you, Andrea?
Yeah, okay, so I have a few ways in which you can contact me. You can contact me through my email, which is mindbodyheartsoul7@gmail.com. You can contact me by going to the retreat page, which is mindbodyheartsoulretreat.com. You know, you can reach out to me on my number. My Google number is 657-222-4756. Go ahead and send me a text message or leave me a voicemail, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. You can also reach me on Instagram at Cruiser777, and that's Cruiser, CRUZZER, on Instagram. Or for my WFG, it's manifest_money. Or Cruise a Collection on Instagram. So those are some really great ways that you can reach out to me, and I'm pretty responsive. I look for anybody who's contacting me for the retreat. Just so you guys know, it's 4 days and 3 nights. It's October 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday we depart. And guess what? It's a 3-day holiday that weekend, so you get an extra day for fun and play if you want to enjoy yourself up in the mountain a little bit longer. And it's a really great, it's a deal, and it's going to go up most likely next time, because as I'm growing, there's other healers that also are demanding their respect and their pay. And so right now we have a really wonderful module where everyone's donating their time. So it's only $444 for 4 days and 3 nights, and food and everything. It's just a steal. And I also I forgot to let you guys know that that 10% of the proceeds is going back to the Amazon and the fires that are burning around the world, because I'm really feeling called to contribute. So I found a couple of non-for-profits that I'm contributing 10% of the proceeds to the rainforest. Generally I'm looking out and I'm linking with other non-for-profits, because I feel like tithing is a really important part of what we're doing, and also being a self-actualized person. And then also for the bracelets as well, 10% of that goes to the slavery of women and children and sex trafficking. So I think that's really, really important to be stated. I donate to Polaris, and so I'm going to be sending them some money soon, because I've had a few orders recently for my bracelets. So that you can look there at also cruiseacollection.com for the website. But a lot of my beads are placed on my Instagram page for Cruise a Collection. So, oh yeah, yes. And I have a 1-day pass. Sorry to interrupt you, Sharifah. I have a 1-day pass for $127 if you can't stay the whole 4 days and 3 nights. So either Friday and Saturday would be good, and that still you get all of your meals as well. So if you need to book a stay somewhere else or whatever, you can do that. But that's just for a day pass. That's not for staying overnight in the cabin. So yeah, so come on up.
It sounds like a lot of fun. And we have Daryl here adding your links and your website links to the comment section. So everyone who watches and everyone who shares it will definitely have that information. Now, Andrea, had a very interesting conversation. We are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I like to do at the end of every show is just allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the people who are watching live, as well as the people watching in the archives, and really express to them what you want them to take away from your interview.
Okay. Awesome. I like that.
What would you like to express?
Oh, you're asking me? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were asking the guests.
No. Speak to the men. Speak to the people.
I see. Okay. I just want to express the most amazing love and gratitude for everyone. And if you really would like to cultivate change in your life, or you just really want some self-care and you want to come up to the mountains, then you're welcome to do that at the retreat. Also, if you need somebody to talk to, if you're going through a crisis in your life or some turmoil, pain, you can definitely reach out to me, and I'd be happy to work with you, and we could always find some time to sit down and get to know each other better, and get better clarity on what it is that you're going through. So I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy to be doing the work, and I think we're always growing, so I'm always learning as well. So thank you. That's it.
You are so welcome. Thank you for being today's guest on Ask Sharifah Videocast.
Oh, thank you, Sharifah.
You are so welcome. And I want to thank you for being a guest. I have to thank everyone, even thank Daryl for his support today in the comments section and making your interview wonderful. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone who's watching in the archives. But I want to say this, I have to say this, especially now it is Labor Day weekend. Please be safe, have fun, but be safe. Don't drink and drive, don't smoke and drive, don't do anything that might put your life and everyone else's lives at jeopardy. But
Absolutely.
definitely have fun, but be safe. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, if you're interested in being a guest or watching more of my interviews, please visit my website at AskSharifah.com. Until then, happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. Bye now.
Happy Labor Day weekend. Bye.